church on the weekend, and then we get together as men, and our whole hope, prayer, and goal is to coach one another up. We always like to say we build men up, we don't beat men up, and our hope, prayer, and goal is to develop men, to help develop men by God's grace as leaders, and that's the whole point, end zone, and goal. And so what we have seen in this past year is that everything rises or falls with leadership. Our country could use more leadership, our businesses could use more leadership, our churches could use more leadership, our families could use more leadership. And what we've seen, especially in the recent year, it's just crazy to think that even a year ago our church was closed. And all that God has done since then is really, really, really incredible and supernatural. And I just want you to know that there is an incredible opportunity for men who are willing to lead. In times of crisis, uncertainty, change, and upheaval, if men will determine that they're going to follow God and they're going to lead, God shows up in supernatural ways and does incredible things. And that's been our experience. This has been one of the greatest years of my entire life. I don't know about you. And for you in the spheres of influence that God has given you. So just by way of beginning, I want you just to think about the areas where you have authority, where you have leadership, where you have responsibility, where there are people that are depending on you or could be trusting in you. First of all, as men, we've got to lead ourselves. And this is the first thing that distinguishes a boy from a man. A boy needs to be led. A man needs to lead himself. A boy needs to be tended to and cared for, and a man needs to look after himself. So first, leadership is self. How many of you guys are married and you got a wife? You got a wife? Okay. Who's the leader in your family? You are. You are. And the question is not, are you the leader? The question is, are you doing a good job or a bad job? You are the leader. And so you've got yourself, if you got your wife, you've got a leader, opportunity with her. How many of you got kids? Kids? A lot of dads in the house. Your kids are back on the bouncy houses, praise God. And then you've got your family to lead. How many of you've got a leadership position or a management position in a company or a business, and there are decisions you make and things you're responsible for? How many of you've got a leadership position in our ministry or some nonprofit or some community service, or maybe even a coach for your kids' team? How many of you guys got that? How many of you are grandpas and you got whole generations? You got a lot of people with your last name, and there's a lot of opportunity to lead in those different arenas. Well, all of that to say that God has given to each of us as men a sphere of influence and leadership. And what we want to do is we want to help you maximize the opportunities that God has afforded for you to be a blessing and to be a help in those areas of responsibility. So what I do on the weekends, I do a long sermon, and then what we do on Wednesday, I mean, it's still actually a pretty long sermon, but it's a shorter sermon compared to the weekend. And all I'm going to look at tonight is just 2 verses in Romans. So we look at the whole text on the weekend, and then we just pull a segment out and talk about leadership for men. And that is this week, 7 leadership lessons for men in Romans 10, 20, and 21. And so by virtue of context, chapters 9 and 10 are about how God seeks us and how God saves us. And it's all about predestination, choosing, electing. We've unpacked all of that in great detail. And this is his final summary thesis, his last statement.
A leader is an admirable position to take up. Leaders have power, and they have more control over where they want things to go. People look up to leaders, and while they're given more responsibilities, they often reap more of the rewards. But not every person can actually be a leader. Leadership takes skills and hard work that do not always appeal to every person working towards their goals. If you do want to step up and be a leader though, consider using some of these tips to help you stand out. Tip number 1, learn from other leaders. Are there leaders that you admire? You should try to learn from them. There are plenty of books available that detail lessons from leaders throughout many industries throughout history, and the journeys that leaders take are not all fun and games. Take some time to read about the failures, the obstacles, and the challenges that your favorite leaders have faced throughout time. You may find some common lessons and experiences that will help you on your own journey to becoming a great leader. Tip number 2 is that it takes work to build skills. Leadership requires different skills depending on what industry you work in and what task you have at hand. Talk to leaders in your industry and learn what skills are necessary to get in the position you want to see yourself in. Then take the time to actually work and build on those skills. Leaders often have to work behind the scenes to prepare themselves for a leadership role. Even if you're not being directly praised for any education or development required to build your skills, know that this work will pay off. Tip number 3 is to believe that you are a leader. If you bring the energy of a leader to a group, the group will come to accept your position. Before you walk in a room, prep yourself up and tell yourself that you are a leader, that you're strong, that you're confident, and that you have the skills to take on the toughest responsibilities. People will be able to see whether or not you are a leader just by your body language, so your brain has to believe it first. If you walk into a room with your head held high and your shoulders back, it will show confidence. Proper posture is key to communicating what your position is to others. Make yourself big and maintain strong eye contact and a strong handshake when introducing yourself to others. If you come into a situation with confidence, people will naturally follow you and believe that you can take on the responsibilities. Tip number 4 is to take up more tasks. If you can, lend a helping hand. If another leader is delegating tasks that you know that you can excel in, you should go ahead and volunteer. If you know a leader that is really struggling to look for volunteers, go ahead and step up. The more you make yourself present in an organization or a business or a team, the more people will get to know you and that they will know that they can rely on you. Even if you take on just small tasks at first, eventually you will build up to take on more and more responsibilities. Tip number 5 is to share your ideas. Leaders have to be able to put a plan into place. They have to have a vision. So don't be afraid to share your ideas with your team or a group. Sharing your ideas is like equivalent to taking up tasks. The more you are present within a team or a group, the more people will turn to you. Even if you don't have a solution yourself, you can find ways that your group can come up with a solution together. Try to ask questions that gather information and lead your team towards a solution. Go ahead and write these ideas down or have someone else write them down so that you can have a document to refer later on in the future. Tip number 6 is to actually listen to others. Not all leaders are made with large mouths. Before and as you start to take charge, listen to the people around you. This is extremely important in leadership. How do they feel about a situation? What solutions and skills can they actually offer? If you listen to other people, you can bring their ideas to the table and connect them with opportunities. So first, in order to be a leader, you will need people to be able to follow you. While some leaders can lead through fear and intimidation, you will get much further if your team truly believes they can benefit from following your lead. Show them that they can benefit from you by providing them with responsibilities, opportunity, and positive validation. Tip number 7 is to learn how to delegate. Leading is not equivalent to taking on every single task. In order to get more things done and make your team feel valued, you need to learn how to delegate tasks. Delegation requires planning and considering the skills of everyone on your team. It also requires the trust that someone else can do something equally or even better than you can, and that also means humility. Once you've gathered a list of tasks that needs to get done for a project to happen, see what you can assign to other people and who can actually do it in the best manner possible. Always accept help from your team if they offer it, but be sure to follow up with the people who have taken on each task. Also, something you should know is that sometimes people require training during the delegation process. As an entrepreneur myself, sometimes it's much easier to spend 8 hours training someone how to do something the right way than spending an hour each day fixing their mistakes for a whole year. Tip number 8 is to treat other leaders with respect. You might not be the only person trying to lead in your organization. In fact, you may be working with someone who is an assigned leader. So you should be respectful of the positions that everyone on your team has, even if you think that you could do a better job. Many leaders earned their position without boasting or bragging about the work that they have done to establish that kind of leadership. So don't undercut someone else's skills or their achievements just because you want to be a bigger leader. If you're not already a leader, you should be patient, share your ideas, and step up when it's appropriate, and then eventually wait for a position to open up for you to become a leader. And the last tip I have for you guys is to know that there are many different types of leaders. It might sound like a cliche, but don't be afraid to be yourself when you're establishing yourself as a leader. There's not just one type of leader, and your team may benefit from a group of leaders that have different management styles and different skills that help them lead. Your group is most likely not a dictatorship, so share this stage with other leaders and find a way that you can be your own type of leader to have the maximum benefit to your group. Also, if you're interested in self-development and growing yourself or your business, I want to let you know about a mastermind group that I recently created, something called Practical Growth Academy. If you're interested, I create weekly animated book summaries, actionable worksheets to go along with the summaries, and also a monthly mini course of a topic that I think you'll find helpful. So far, there's over 25 book summaries and 7 mini courses on topics like productivity, money management, social skills, and just other stuff that's really important and I think that can help you in self-improvement. If you want to get immediate access to all of this, plus a link to a private Discord server where all the members share stories, ideas, and we help each other grow, you can check out the link in the description. And if you sign up
do something extraordinary, you have one job. Leave your fellow humans in awe.
You probably don't think of your life in this manner, but I now invite you to think of your life in this manner. Your entire life has been nothing but an attempt to exert control over some part of your internal or external environment. You do not have control. You never had control. You never will have control. You only have the illusion of control.
The thing that I find most interesting and the thing that I think a lot about is who are we sort of at our core? What are we? Are we changeable? Are we malleable? The whole nature versus nurture thing has really come to define my life. It doesn't matter who you are today. It certainly doesn't matter how you were born. The only thing that matters is who you want to become and the price you're willing to pay to get there.
Legacy is planting seeds in a garden that you'll never see. The capacity to strengthen and increase your hunger is the one common denominator amongst the most successful people. Richard Branson's a good friend of mine, and Peter Guber, Steve Wynn, all these guys, they've never lost their hunger. Most people are hungry to achieve a certain amount, make a certain amount of money, and then they get comfortable and relax, or to get a certain level of fitness, and then they relax. Hunger is the ultimate driver, because if you're hungry, you can get the strategy, you can get the answer. If you can't model it, you can find it.
I would lay in bed for up to 4 hours a day, every single day, because I couldn't motivate myself to get out of bed. I didn't have a job. And the only thing that would get me out of bed, 15 years before I'm capable of building a billion-dollar company, the only thing that got me out of bed was shame, because I had one failed misunderstanding. I believed that my talent and intelligence were fixed traits. Because what's happening in the mind seems invisible. We can't see it. We don't understand what's happening. And so as shame was the only thing that would drag me out of bed, I didn't understand that the same thing I believed to be true of my body was true of my mind. What you build your self-esteem around matters.
So what I want you to realize is thoughts are invisible waves. When you turn on TV, it takes invisible waves, and depending on the channel, you're gonna see a love story or an adventure or a drama or a comedy. So what I've tried to do in this Airy Beautiful State is simple. You start to feel the stress, you see it as thoughts going by, and then you focus on something to appreciate, enjoy, or love. Appreciation, love, and joy destroy suffering. You can't be grateful and angry simultaneously. It's possible. You can't be worried and fearful and grateful simultaneously. So I tell people gratitude is one of the emotions to cultivate that'll destroy the suffering.
Stop trying to control your life. You can't do it. Think instead in terms of controlling the experience of your life. A lot of the time in your life, you have the ability to decide what you are going to experience. Mental chatter is an internal monologue that you have going on in your heads all the time. It begins right up when you get up in the morning, is with you throughout the day. Mental chatter has always been a part of your life. Most of the time we try to ignore it, we suppress it, we work around it, we try to live our life as best we can in spite of our mental chatter. That is a huge mistake. And the reason it's a huge mistake is because we build our lives with our mental chatter. We create the world that we live in with our mental chatter. We all think we live in a real world, but we don't. We live in a construct. We live in the matrix.
And whether you realize it or not, each and every one of you has something that sits at the core of how you feel about yourself. And from that, your identity, your sense of self-worth, your self-esteem, it is all built around that thing. Now, when you think about my job as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as an athlete, as a speaker, as a whatever you want to be, you've got to get so good at that thing that when people see you do it, you make them experience the most potent human emotion, and that is awe. To get that good is a terrifying journey of self-discovery and confronting who you really are. Because you cannot make change until you acknowledge where you're actually at.
the most important decision of your life is deciding whether you're truly committed to being happy no matter what. Because life is going to throw all kinds of curveballs at all of us. There's the one thing that's in common in this lifetime is extreme stress. But it's just true. Someone you're going to care about is going to die. Someone's going to take advantage financially if you're not careful. You're going to find yourself in a position the government might change the rules and you can't do what you're doing before. Somebody call, like I've gotten a call saying you got a tumor in your brain. Those days alter you. So the greatest gift you could give yourself, besides making this life about love and making this life about giving, because to give you have to keep growing, is, I believe, to make that decision and say life is too short to suffer.
We are all very good at shooting second arrows at ourselves. How many times have you laid yourself low? How many times have you berated yourself for taking some damn fool action in retrospect? How many times have you compared yourself unfavorably with someone else? We don't just shoot second arrows, we shoot third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh arrows at ourselves. The important thing for you to note is the second arrow is always delivered by means of mental chatter. What you don't recognize is the stuff that you believe, which you have not subjected to the same scrutiny, is equally false. And that too will crumple. So the question to ask yourself is not, is this true or false, right or wrong, good or bad? The question to ask yourself is, does this model work for me in my life now better than what I am currently using?
You get to build yourself in any direction you want, in any way, to become anything you want. There will be an extraordinary price to pay, but you can go in any direction. Now, I don't think that we're born blank slates, but we are so close to that. To worry about where your limits are is to miss how much you can improve. So focus on how much you can improve. There's an amazing quote by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, the author of the Gulag Archipelago. And what he said was, the line between good and evil runs through every human heart. The most important decision any human being has to make is whether they live in a friendly or a hostile universe. Decision. The most important decision anyone has to make, because neither of those two states is empirically true, but either will immediately appear true once you decide to believe it.
That the secret to life is to get outside yourself and find the way to add value to others. There's nothing that's more fulfilling than doing something beyond yourself. I think one of the things that makes me proud to be a human being is human beings will do more for others that they care about than they'll ever do for themselves. And when you tap into that, you have more energy than anybody else, you have more joy, you have more excitement, because, as I always say, life supports whatever supports life. Motive matters. The idea of being obsessed with learning, growing, and adding value, to me, is the most important thing in life, because, the only way we're happy is by making progress. We grow and we feel alive. We give and we feel 10 times more alive. But you got to grow to have something to give.
Brick by brick, day after day, I transformed myself. It was not an uncovering of something that was real and already there. It was simply acknowledging I am a hopelessly average human, but humans are the ultimate adaptation machine. So I can change. I can become whatever I want. And I just became single-mindedly focused.
Eyes goes on one screen. Just now I'm trying to reach the other facility to be able to help them. So today I'm going to start talking about the acronym for an Odoguman. I'm going to start talking about the acronym for an Odoguman. And I'm literally using this book, Odogu the Manthing. I'm sure you can see that Odogu the Manthing book. That's what I'm using to discuss. So today I'm going to start this conversation. Odogu is an acronym that we give to this book called The Good Manthing book. A lot of people say this book has blessed them. People give feedbacks from different places, from different direction. That's how powerful this is. So I want to encourage you that as you study your life, you ask yourself, am I an Odogu man? Okay. You want to ask yourself, am I representing the type of man you can say is an Odogu man? And that ultimately, will help you, will direct you and bring you to a place, that is enviable. So today, the word Odogu is spelled G O-D-O, G-W-U. So I'm going to just take, the first one today, which is O. To be an Odogu means to be an overcomer. To be an Odogu, for me, is an overcomer. So the book, Odogu the Manthing, is about you being an overcomer. Overcoming the challenges, overcoming the pain, overcoming the things you have been through. Everyone sets out to win, but sometimes we don't. And so we only know that people that win ultimately are people who have passed through challenges, surmounted those challenges, and they are standing right up there as a sort of encouragement to other people. So Odogu the Manthing, victory is sweet. Let me tell you, to be victorious, everyone wants to be victorious. Losing is never what people plan for. Nobody just wake up and say, I'm planning to fail. It's always an outcome, that happens to people. So you want to be a champion, you want to be a winner. As a man and everything you are doing, you have to know that as you are suffering setbacks, suffering, negative things, you want to know that as an Odogu, you ultimately need to overcome. So don't allow the challenges you are passing through right now to stop you from, pushing forward to the things you need to do. Everyone faces challenges. Challenges are not unique to a few people. Everyone faces challenges. And when we all face these challenges, some people buckle, but some people fight their way up. Failure is a part of life as much as success is a part of life. What is important is for you to strive and encourage yourself as a man, to say, I'm going to overcome. I'm going to rise above this. You have to understand that in life we have experiences that are positive, some are negative, some are encouraging, some are not encouraging. But as a man, you want to win. As a man, you want to conquer. As a man, you want to become everything you were created to be. You just want to stand out there and be a source of encouragement to other people. You have to know that sometimes challenges come, and to overcome them, you have to, go beyond your experience and use your imagination to overcome. Use your imagination to suppress what, could have kept you down, and you push yourself and go to that point where you're winning. This is what is important. This is what is powerful for you, as a man. This is not about wishful thinking. I wish I succeeded. I wish this and that. No. Odogu men don't wish like that. They walk. They throw in the towel. They do their best. They become everything they could possibly be just to make sure that they stand out and conquer this. And that's what you want to do. You want to stand out. You want to conquer. You want to overcome everything that, is capable of putting you down. Sometimes I realize that champions are ex-losers who got mad. I need to say that again. Champions are ex-losers who got mad. Sometimes you have lost. Not all of us have lost, but after you have lost a while, you have to now, get mad at failure and tell yourself, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to become the best I was created to be. So I wanted to know, if you want to be an Odogu man, what you want to do is to be an overcomer. So the first letter O is an overcomer. Number 2, D means diligence. Every Odogu man that I know, and those that want to be Odogu, have to be diligent. Diligence is the hallmark of our great achievers. Okay? Every Odogu is an outstanding person. There's no lazy man that can be an Odogu man. No way. You have to be diligent. You have to be diligent in the pursuit of your dreams that you've set for yourself, the goals you've set for yourself. You have to push yourself to focus on what is important on your way to achieving what is the things that purpose has called you for, you're equipped to achieve in destiny. It is very critical that you realize, if you read the wisdom book, the Bible, it says in Proverbs 22, verse 29, see that a man diligent in his own business. It shall stand before kings and not before men. The Message translation will say, that people that they know their work very well, they never take a back seat for anybody. You don't take a back seat, you only take front seat. So diligence is literally a destiny lifter. It is a destiny lifter. Through diligence, you can, set yourself apart as a major voice in an industry, a major voice in a sector, a major voice in the things that you're doing. If you set yourself up as an Odogu man that is diligent, you see, your profiting will ultimately show. Don't join lazy men. Be diligent. Do your best. Again, in the wisdom book in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 15, he said, give yourself wholly to this, and then your profiting will appear to all. What have you given yourself wholly to? You see, your profiting will show. Anything you give yourself wholly to, your profiting will show. Your profiting will show. Profit does not show because you are just trying. No, profit shows because you're giving yourself wholly to it. You're giving yourself wholly to it. You give yourself wholly. You see sports people, those that become champions in sports, they give themselves wholly to it. Those that succeed and do marvelous things and achieve great results, they give themselves wholly to it. You can't afford to give yourself wholly to something and then remain small. It's not possible. When you give yourself wholly to something, you ultimately end up being a very massive achiever. Yeah, you become a massive achiever when you give yourself wholly to something, giving yourself wholly to something. You have to realize that if distractions come your way in life, I want to make you to lose your focus on diligence. You want to deal ruthlessly with distractions and be focused. Focus maintain the success attained. Focused people are people that will attain to the greatness they desire. So you want to maintain focus. You want to pursue focus. You want to, throw the best you can possibly throw in your life to achieve the things that you are called to do. I want to encourage you. Don't allow things that should not stop you to stop you. There's greatness within you. You are created for the top. Don't die at the bottom. Yeah, don't die at the bottom. You are created for the top. Obedience is the next one. Oh, in the traditional way, people call Odogus like a champion, people that are unruly, people that just do anyhow, they don't respect people, but that's not true. An Odogu person is someone who is obedient. He is obedient. You have to be obedient, to principles, obedient to the things that you're doing. You have to be obedient, okay? I've learned that when you want to be someone that can change the trajectory of the lives of other people, you push yourself out there where you are an Odogu person, where you are, a diligent person. You put yourself out there and you obey. Great champions are obedient people. They obey rules. They obey the disciplines that can help them achieve the things they wanted to achieve. So you can't say you're an Odogu person and you don't obey rules, you don't obey traffic rules, you don't obey financial principle rules. No, you obey something. Odogu man is not a rascally. No, he's not a rascal person. No, he is not. He's not a rascal person. He's always very committed to making sure that things work. So you stand in that space and then you are able to, take your journey into a whole new dimension. The next one I want you to know is that Odogu people are also generous. They are generous. They are very, very generous. They are not stingy people. You know what? Through diligence, through obedience, you're going to amass a lot of wealth. Odogu people, they have a lot of resources, a lot of wealth. But after a while, you realize that only you cannot eat this. Only you cannot consume this. Only you cannot enjoy this. Only you cannot. You have to now step in, into that space where you can begin to work with people and help other people. Because when you give to other people, your life expands. Your life shrinks when you hold on to things, but your life expands when you give to other people. Odogu people are generous people. You want to subscribe to generosity. Subscribe to generosity. Try to be generous. Be generous to your children. Be generous to other people around you. Just be generous. Generosity will change your life forever. Yes, yes, will change your life, forever. Generosity is a major quality of an Odogu man. And it's through that generosity even that they keep increasing from one level of wealth to the other level of your life. And I like to put it this way, even our physical body teaches us generosity. Our heart is a giving organ, our lungs, our kidney, every part of our body that is, they are all taking and giving. So the day you make up your mind, I will only breathe in, I will not breathe out. Your way to grave. Or the same time you say, I'll eat, I won't go to toilet. You're going to die. Or your heart decides to receive blood and won't pump out. That's the last time you pump. So you realize that everything is, going to work in that direction in a very systematic way. I want you to know this. You can never live life and become a Odogu man without being generous. In Ephesians chapter 4, the wisdom book says, let him that stole steal no more, but let him work diligently with his hand that he may have to give him. That means, that give him that is in need. That means we are working. Before we say we're working for a living, but from this place, I saw we are working for a giving. You're working for a giving. You want to give to other people. You want to give to other people. That's how you begin to grow. That's how you begin to grow. Okay. And the richest man that ever lived, Solomon, says he observed chapter 15 and verse 11. He said, I observe that the richer I get, the more mouths that will eat it. So much of the wealth that rich people even get, they don't even eat it. Other people eat it for them. So you have to, be generous. Play a role in deciding where is your resources going to go to. Play a role. It's more blessed to give than to receive, we are told. Odogu men are givers. Watch any real man you see, they are givers. They like to enlarge their word by what they give, because when you give, your word enlarges. When you restrain from giving, your word shrinks. When you give, your word enlarges. Your word enlarges. The wise people understand that Odogu men are also wise. So W stands for wisdom. Wisdom is what it takes for anyone to rise. Show me someone that is rising in anything he's doing. I'll tell you a man that has a wisdom to make that thing work. And in everything, there are different wisdom for everything. It takes the wise to rise. The Odogu man is the wise man. The wisdom requirement is very important to build tomorrow. And it's very meaningful for you to not to subscribe to foolishness, but subscribe to wisdom. Because through wisdom, you're going to reign. Through wisdom, you're going to win. Through wisdom, you're going to conquer. Through wisdom, you're going to become everything you were created to be. Wisdom. Wisdom changes you. Wisdom changes everything about you. You can't afford to be a foolish man. There's a lot of people depend on you. Foolishness should not run in your life as a man. No. You walk in righteousness. You walk in knowledge. You grow in knowledge. You grow your capacity. I like to put it this way, that knowledge is knowing what to do. Understanding is knowing why you're doing it. Discretion is to know when to do it. But wisdom is to know how to do it. It's to know how to do it. Wisdom is critical for any man to become an Odogu. It's quite critical. Because being wise is better than being strong. Yeah. Being wise is better than being strong. You see what? Wisdom outranks muscle anytime, any day. So acquire wisdom, go for wisdom, seek wisdom. Odogu men, through wisdom, they stand out. Through wisdom, they rule. Through wisdom, they establish systems and principles and protocols that make things happen. Emotional intelligence is very important, and through wisdom, you can gain that. So don't be a foolish Odogu man. No. You can't even be an Odogu man as a foolish person. You gain wisdom. And the last one, is that these people, they are unafraid. They are undaunted, unafraid. They're willing to push through all difficulties to establish success. They're willing. If there's any single character that we know about Odogu man, is that they are fearless. They dare things. They push things. They push boundaries. When they resolve to do something, they go all the way out to do it. So I want to encourage you as a man in 2022, maybe you have visions you want to achieve. Push them. Try. Step your feet there and try to see what you can be. Live a life that's audacious. Why are you going to live a slumpy life? Live an audacious life. Be confident to attempt to do something. It's whether you try and fail and succeed in doing nothing. My father used to quote this for me many times. He said, "My son, you better try and fail than succeed in doing nothing. Try, try. Failure is a part of life. So if you fail, you rise up again and come back after a setback. Sometimes some setback is actually a setup for you to rise higher. So you begin to rise. So I want to encourage you as I begin to go to the end of today's episode of the Manthing Show that you want to make sure that you are an Odogu man. And I've mentioned all the elements of an Odogu man. O, overcomer. D, diligence. The next O, obedience. G, you have to be, generous. W, you have to be wise, and you have to be unafraid, undaunted. When you put all of these things together, what happens is that you're going to become the man. Yourself, you're going to be proud of yourself, and people around you are going to be proud of you. So I encourage you to get the book, Odogu, the Man Thing. You can get this book, Odogu, the Man Thing. It's going to bless you. You can order for it, all right? They're going to put your phone number in the comment section where you can order, all right? You can literally order for it and experience the change that can come from the things that you have. I want you to know this. There is greatness that you have. There is beauty that you have. There is winning that you can do in the things that you're already doing. I cherish you and I value you. This is your season and your time is now. I love you all. And I want to ask you a question before you sign out today. Can you write in the comment section what stood out for you? What did you learn? Whether you join me live right now or you watch this video after, I want to get feedback from you. How did this bless you? How does this help you? How does this help you, to be the man that you were created to be? These videos are all, focused on helping us to become the men that our world is looking for, that children are looking for, that wives are looking for, the men that people are going to be proud of. I want you to know this, that there is greatness and beauty around you. I cherish you and I value you. I'm waiting for your comments in all the platforms. Let me hear, let me see what your comments are on Facebook, right? On Instagram, on YouTube, on WhatsApp. Let's see what your comments are. And then, we're just going to pray today and end this, broadcast today. Thank you so much. I pray for you. I pray for every man that is watching this or going to watch it after the broadcast. May the hand of the Lord rest upon you. May greatness be your portion. May you never fail. May you be a source of encouragement to other people. May people learning from you, may they grow and become all that they're created to be. I cherish you and I value you. Stay blessed and stay strong. Till I come your way next week, Sunday, I remain the City Wisdom, the company of the Manthing Summit, the Father and Son Adventure, and then the Manthing Masterclass. I cherish you and I value you. Stay strong. Bye.